Hello, Nana, Anna, and the Morrigan. I'm Kelly, and I channel my spirit guides. And it will be Anna, the grandmother of Jesus, and the Morrigan today. And I would like to ask them about the fear of not being productive as a human. Because I'm feeling like my resistance to meditation is that I'm getting nothing done. I'm getting nothing done. I'm wasting my time, and it's scary. I really resist that. And I was like, what am I going to channel about today? And I feel them answering that question. Why am I scared of not being productive? And how do I overcome that? So that I can find the bliss behind letting go of the struggle during meditation. Well, hi, Kelly. Thank you for asking this question. So immediately your mind went to, of course I feel like I need to be productive because I've been conditioned to think like a slave. Okay. So the part of you that has anxiety over sitting still and closing your eyes, that anxiety is a taproot programming to condition you to feel like you have to be productive. It's much what the pop stars that have been trained in the Illuminati of their versions, or the in the network, the Hollywood network, they've gone through MK Ultra, and MK Ultra is mind control. MK, mind control, but German. And through trauma and confusion, they program the brains to feel like they must produce music, and in the method and ways that they've been programmed to be an artist. And as we read in Annika Lucas's book, there is a joy and pleasure within the mind-controlled person to be their best at something. So, when children are trained to be elite at anything, of course, there's a joy in being your peak potential performer or artist or whatever. Your talent is taken to the extreme. There's a joy in that. So there's duality everywhere. Okay? You can't escape the duality. So both of those things are going to help you meditate easier with less resistance. A, to understand you have been programmed to be productive because it's just how the mind control is operating to keep you distracted and giving them the energy they need to feed off of, because it's like a parasite, remember? And secondly is that there's always going to be duality. So when you are sitting and you acknowledge that anxiety, that's when you tell yourself, I would like to be an observer mind right now. And you know through hypnosis that you can just simply say that to yourself. I step into an observer mindset right now when you feel the anxiety. Okay? That's where a compartmentalization is appropriate, to compartmentalize your conscious decision-making process separate from your feelings of anxiety, your feelings of passion. Filter it through your logical love, love obedient mind. I am obedient to love. What love and truth tell me to do, I'm going to do my best. I'm a human, and I'm in third dimension, so everything moves slowly and it takes effort, but I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to use my logical, love-directed mind to do the best that I can and to make decisions. And when you're in meditation, Acknowledge that a part of you feels like it must be productive because it's been programmed to feel that way. You've been programmed to fear the clock. Okay? So resisting the urge to quit your meditation is a rebellious act against slavery. To meditate is to invite in sovereignty, because sovereignty begins in the mind. You must begin with the awareness that you've been conditioned. You don't have to call it mind control or programming if that feels uncomfortable to you. But even if there was no malintent by anyone else, you're a mammal. It's just how your biology operates to absorb the energies and frequencies and storytelling that happened around you. You absorb it. You remember it. You can't close your ears. You're absorbing and remembering everything. That's why where we go one, we go all. Because everyone's thoughts are just floating around you. You can't avoid it. You know, you're going to magnetically attract your karma, and you can't avoid it. You've got to deal with it. Either you're going to be hurt again by it, or you're going to transmute it because you look at it objectively and you forgive everybody involved. And you bring love to the situation instead of panic. That's how you heal your karma. You bring love instead of panic. It is really all about the nervous system. It is really all about stress versus oxytocin. Love versus stress. That's it. Once you guys realize that your feelings are your medium, or your feelings are your map, kind of like, it's like where you go to figure out what's going on. Got to go to your feelings. You got to listen to your feelings. You got to feel your feelings. You got to sit with your feelings. You got to pay attention and label and talk about and journal and all that. You got to get really familiar with your feelings. They're going to tell you everything, because that's the communication. That's the language. All the information to your conscious mind is through your feelings from your spirit realm. That's what they are. They're nothing else but communication from the spirit realm. Okay? And sometimes it feels good to hurt. Okay? That's why we like addictions, because sometimes it feels good to hurt. There's duality everywhere. How extremely do you want to experience that duality? That's it. It's not addiction. It's you want to experience duality in an extreme way. That's habits with drugs and stuff. You just want to be extreme. And you want to be extreme because you feel guilty about something. So find out what it is you feel guilty about by having extreme compassion for all of humanity, because we're all sharing the same struggle. It's the human condition. We're all sharing it. Okay? Your friend who's the opposite political party as you had different experiences that led them to that situation. They had different programming. You're both characters in a drama, taking sides, understanding the perspective of this character. That's it. Which character do you want to play right now? From all of the other characters you've played, what sounds fun now? Wear that costume, step into that role. And it might be scary, but it's going to be fun, and that's the point. Have fun. Because once it gets scary, why? Why participate in anything scary? Find where it's fun. And if all you see is scary somewhere, close your eyes. This will get easier over time. This isn't something that you're going to pick up immediately and snap your finger and all of a sudden you got it. Yes, you're going to get downloads, but they're going to go deep into your subconscious where you can't really consciously remember them. You know, they're going to wash over. Every time you get a download, it washes over your ego. And it goes, okay, I see, ego, what you're ready to let go of. Okay. Every time you pray, you ask God to take off a little layer of that. We're proud of you, Kelly, for meditating beforehand. And it's almost like you can feel now the expansion in your mind that's possible with that 15 minutes of efforted stillness. With the consistency, it will get easier, and you'll be able to go longer, and you'll understand what you're doing. Because it's like when you start exercising, when you start a sport, when you start a skill, whenever, in the beginning, it's so foreign. It's like, I don't know what that's called. That's the first time I've ever seen that. What's ergonomically healthy to do this? Like, there's a lot to learn in the beginning with anything new. And then after you have done it so much, like driving, that it's second nature, then you can become a more complicated, skilled technician with that, because you can layer upon it new skills at the same time. So that's how it is with meditation. At first, you're not used to feeling your mind space. You know? So your lungs need time to inflate. They don't inflate 100% the first time you sit down to breathe. First time you take an inhale. If you're going running, it takes 2 minutes or 10 minutes to get your lungs efficiently circulating that oxygen. Okay? Things take time in the physical. Okay? So it's part of the learning, though, that you have to effort through time while not seeing anything come from your efforts. It's a type of humility training for you to allow yourself to fail but keep going, because you're not getting the feedback that you want to say that you're successful at what you're doing. But you're doing it out of faith because you know what's right, and that's what we want to see. We're really, really proud of you guys who push through when you don't see the reward right away. We're really proud of you. And there's more of that lighting up on the planet. And that's where you're going to take your vision further, because you don't have to get rewarded right away. You're willing to put the effort in because it's just what you believe in. You know it's right when no one else is watching. Okay? It's very important, because that's sovereignty. When you do what's right when no one else is watching, you can handle yourself. Whenever no one else is around to help you, you can handle yourself. So when you get to the state of you can handle yourself when no one else is around, we respect that, and we're going to give you more responsibility, because it's a privilege to have responsibility, and you have to demonstrate that you are thinking autonomously enough to handle stuff as a leader. Okay, the leaders need to be free of worrying about what anybody else thinks. They use their own intelligence and their own wisdom, and they act from their own truth. That's the leadership that will be supported in this new energy. You act in your own truth, and we know your truth is love. Okay, we don't know why Trump is bombing Iran. I don't even know if it's true. I don't know what's going on. All I know is my power is within, and I don't feel a war inside me. I don't feel it. I don't feel a World War III inside me. I see a garden. I see land. I see people. I see kids. I see plants. I see a river. I see a mountain. Trees. Trails. Women. Bare feet. Moss. A kitchen. Wooden interior. And a fireplace. And a bonfire. And some campgrounds. And some horses. And an archery range. That's what I see. That's all I focus on. Because my heart has been broken everywhere else. I don't care. I will not tolerate anything else until I die. It's do or die. It's ride or die. It's a zip line from the garden to the water. Hashtag a zip line from the garden to the water. Okay? That's it. That's my vision. Nothing will stop me. I will get there. Okay? And I don't know. That's why I talk about that butterfly, because I see it shaping up all around me, but I see everything holding still. I see all of the tiny little structural parts of the butterfly wing were put into place very specifically with intention and quietly. I'm seeing all the wing put together very quietly. Nobody else is watching. Yeah, some people. But in my head, I'm so alone with this whole thing. And I can see like the whole thing. I can see it. That's how I know, like at some point it's gotta just take off. So, when you can get to the point of not caring what other people think, we know that you're focused on us and what we're telling you. And if you can just focus on focus on us, we can be very precise with our guidance. Okay, and the more precise we are, the less messy this is. That's why we use the word assassin. We want you to think like targeted so that it's a clean war. Okay, we don't want mess. We don't want sloppy arguments that go on for days and hours. You know, we want the point made as quickly and early as possible in the conversation so that you just eliminate any need for argument. Okay? We want you to shut it down in a couple sentences, because once you start getting in an argument and it goes back and forth, your ego gets activated and all logic just goes right out the window. Nobody's talking about logic. You're just talking about fears. You're just arguing about fears. Watch for this in your conversations. When does the conversation change from like a friendly exchange of information to like, well, this is my fear and that's why I can't talk about it, and this is my fear and that's why you make me feel uncomfortable, but you're actually thinking you're making sense and you're not. You're just fighting over your feelings. You're hurt about this. Okay? It's just a bunch of whining. Okay? So we don't want to drag out. You know, that's why Kelly is being trained as a diplomat to see very early on in someone's conversation and their thought process. When are they leaving the paradigm of the 5D? You have to have a foundation of peace, that's your goal, in order to debate spirituality. If your proof about spirituality comes from logic or books or authority figures, that's not the same paradigm that I'm talking about. I'm talking about consciousness. And there is no third dimensional human being who can tell anybody else how consciousness works, because it's a personal experience. You are your own God. You're the center of your world. You're the one with the answers. Okay? I don't know how to teach and tell people that they have the truth inside them at the same time. I don't understand. So I just channel. And I just share my story, and I don't tell anybody what's right or wrong. I just say, you know what, this is what I came up with so far. And I really took this seriously when I did my research. It's all I care about. I love my kids, and they are my responsibility in this life. But what I'm passionate about is the truth and offering it to anybody who else is interested. And I'm willing to meditate for 15 minutes, and I'm willing to do push-ups, and I'm willing to go running now to get to it. I'm willing to create routines for my kids. I'm willing to do these things now. I don't know how, and I'm failing a lot, but I just take a deep breath and I don't give up, because I can't go back. I can't go back. I can't go back to sleep. There's no way. It's do or die. It's be tortured or killed or succeed. That's it. I don't have another option. So, that's what the Morrigan wanted me to say, was that's how serious you become. It's just like your truth is just the only option. There's no other option at some point. It's just, what am I up for today? And how can I be up for more tomorrow so that everything is even more in integrity? And it just does. It feels better. So, Thank you. I feel really high right now. Like I could keep going for a long time, but also that I'm babbling. So, thank you, Nana Anna. Thank you, Morgan. And I love these birds, man. These birds just feel so, you guys are like an angelic choir. And I'm so grateful for the bird song. Blessings, blessings.